There is a space where you are all you need, where you are all you want. All there is here. Welcome to the Source Connection, conversations about who we truly are, the possibilities of creation and the new earth we are birthing. With your hosts, Tara Long and Liz B.
Hello, welcome everyone to 2022. That's when we're recording this episode on the, third day of January. It'll come out later, but we're happy you're with us. And let's start with, my name is Tara, of course. We know this, I think. And, and I'm with Liz, my co-host. If you know us, you know us. And if you don't, welcome. We love you. Let's start as we do with just a few minutes. Maybe we'll do a few minutes of silence today just to tune in. So go ahead and close your eyes if it feels good. And just relax wherever you are. And let yourself breathe naturally, but being aware of the breath and the magic of the breath moving through you. And remember the pure love that you are. And let us sit together in this for a few minutes. And feel yourself taking a nice deep breath in. Just letting it go, and do one more like that. Excuse me, open the eyes and come back to the space with us. Together. We are together. Hi, Liz.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Oh, yes, and good night.
Say it's a new year.
It is a new year. I love all the twos because I love twos. So I'm so happy that it's 2022.
And there's that meme that says, once you figure out that 2022, it's 2020 again, right? 2022.
oh my God, what does it mean?
A year of reflection.
Yes. Yeah, which is what we're going to do a little bit of today. Reflecting on 2021, how amazing of a year in so many ways. And you actually just put up a little vignette of our year, which was beautiful. Little snippets from all of our episodes and our guests. And
Wasn't it
super sweet. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. It's really nice.
It was really fun to do that because I knew of all the great memories and the moments that we had shared with our guests and the two of us. And so I had to go back and scan through. And it was interesting because some of our guests, I knew exactly the parts I wanted to put in, and some I didn't. And I just had to go for a ride and see what stood out at that moment, right?
Yeah.
And it was so great to see it like that.
Yes. You remember, right? It's like, oh, I forgot we talked about that, or I forgot that moment.
And just how each of them activates something different in me.
Yeah.
And how I love that. And I'm just so grateful for each and every one of them and the co-creation of this space, and for all of our listeners who also are co-creating this magic with us.
Yeah, I did a little like video or something at the end of last year on just collaboration and how sweet and how it's such a time for that. I mean, if one feels it's the time of that for them, but how it's like something is created, of course, that wouldn't have otherwise been, right? Like on our own, which is also sweet on our own. But when you come together with someone else, it's like, it's not just asking someone questions, not just asking our guest, these root questions or whatever. It's like just something else, some energy field and essence, and something new is always there. I just really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And every time with us too, Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how would you sum up 2021 for yourself?
How can we sum it up? Let me feel this out. And I ask you the same question back, so feel free to into that. And
if you could only have one word, no, just kidding.
If I had one word, I would use expansion. Stretching. In a good way. Sometimes stretching can be taken as something that feels uncomfortable, but like a really timely placed stretching of the potential and the capacity and the thinking and just emotionally and everything, but in an expansive way. Like it grows, it takes more space, it aligns, it fills up, embodies. Yeah.
I've been asking some of my clients, like, greatest challenge and greatest gift and of the last year. And what's so cool is that oftentimes it's the same thing. The greatest gift always comes from our greatest challenge. You're like, oh, wow. Yes. So cool to see that sort of aha.
opportunities to reframe that mindset, right? And to realign with life is always happening for me.
Yeah.
And I think once we change that lens, once we see life through that lens, it's so much more soothing because you're not fighting against life. Life becomes a collaborative partner or entity, shall we say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does, just like our bodies do. You know, there are friends, there are partners for us, not against us.
Yeah. That has been a good, beautiful, trying to find the right word, remembering at a deeper level for me personally of the programs of the body are flawless and perfect, and how much we've been trained to see things arising in the body as the body against us, and how much of that is a mindset, a warped mindset, a distortion.
Yeah.
And so you start to, again, it's a collaborative process with life, with your body, with the circumstances that arise. And it makes life so much lighter and so much more fun.
Yeah. And even like last week, you know, I was, well, the old program is that under the weather or sick or I have a cold or whatever. And since I've shifted to, oh, my body is detoxing and upgrading something. I don't need to know what that is, but I know that that's what it's doing. It's always healing. It's always working for me. So whatever is happening is great. And I'm just going to let it happen, and I'm going to rest, and I'm going to do what it, I'm going to listen to my body and do what I need to do. But there's nothing wrong. It's not that it shouldn't be happening, or, oh, darn, I got sick, or whatever, that old story. It's like, cool. Yeah. Now I'm going to be even better and more aligned to this life and environment and wherever I'm at and whatever I'm doing. So, yeah.
Yes. Hallelujah. What was the most fun you had in 2021?
The most fun I had was probably with you, sister. Was in our group and getting together with folks and just laughing and sharing and Sky Doggy, just watching her. Like, she's so funny and dramatic and crazy and lovely. I had so much fun with her. And doing our podcast and our guests, and we traveled a lot too. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. In 2021. Mm-hmm.
It rhymes.
What's that? Yeah, I had a lot of fun in
2021.
Yeah, how about you? What was your most fun times?
I second what you said about being together and co-creating in different aspects, whether it would be with the people locally or the two of us here in the podcast, or the conversations we would have about everything. And yes, there was traveling too, and that was a lot of fun, and life just kept showing up like, I'm here, I'm on your side, what do you want? That was really fun to experience at that level. The Music and Sky Festival was incredible, and that was a lot of fun. Meeting people and the bonds of affection that came from that and the ramifications of that time, space. I think there was a portal, a much greater portal than what I realized at the time being there. And laughing is my favorite thing ever.
Yes, we've talked about this.
Oh, I will lose the friend, but I won't lose the joke. And so fun for me is just, finding the opportunity to have fun. And so oftentimes we think that we have to wait for something to be funny, right? But how can I have fun with whatever that I'm doing? And so I like incorporating music in my life and having a good time. And I remember years ago telling a friend, like, oh, I wish we had these things that were like implanted in our ears that we could just turn on music, like soundtracks to our life, right? I take that back. And I want anything implanted in me or anybody whatsoever, unless you choose to do that. But music is part of my life and my experience here. And I think that's always something that I can root myself back into when I forget to have fun. And so, and dance party.
Tell me.
Dance at home.
Your what?
My
What'd you
dance
say?
party at home.
Your dance party, yeah, solo dance party.
Fun back.
So tell me your favorite music, your favorite kinds of music or bands or.
So eclectic. Spotify did this funny thing where it did a compilation of 2021 for me. The musics that were the most heard on my account, and it started with Zumba. Right after, no, actually started with medicine music. So maybe let's link this song up on our description. And then it went to Zumba, which is like completely different moods. It was like just na 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 na, and then it goes to wepa wepa wepa. It was like, all right, and then it goes to, what is it after that? Some didgeridoo, and then and then it's some rock and roll, and then it's and I was just like, oh my God, I just love this so much. It's everything that makes me happy. Or that reminds me of the guiding principles of how I'm feeling, right? Because what I've come to realize is that oftentimes we're in society in general, we're striving to not feel sad or to not feel discomfort or to not feel something that doesn't feel as pleasant in the body. But music has this magical ability for me to allow for me to tap into whatever it is that I'm feeling and just be with it. And so I honor the power of music to do that, and it helps soothes the discomfort at times.
Yeah, it sure does. Music is such a soundtrack too of our lives. Like I'll hear a song from college or whatever and just be transported right back to how I was feeling. And it's just, it like holds it. It's like a snapshot of your life, at a certain time.
I have the same thing with smells.
Oh, and smells too. Yes. Smells and the emotions are, so tied together.
It's for me. Of that snippet, like you were saying, like it brings you somewhere or it transports you to a certain time that you're like, oh, yeah.
Right. Something maybe you even forgot you remembered. You're like, whoa.
And then we're talking about music, because throughout all this, there was often a question of, where are the rebels? Where are the rebels in music? I grew up as a teenager and I listened to what at the time what I thought was very rebellious music. Like I had this inner knowing that something was distorted, that something was messed up, that we didn't have to live the way we were living. Yeah. We don't need war and pain and this kind of suffering inflicted upon others. And a lot of what I listened to was a questioning of that system.
Yeah.
And so throughout 2020 and 2021 was always like, where are the rebels?
Yeah. The rock and roll, like, is that to me is the root of, was always the root of rock and roll, right? It was rebellious against the system or speaking out or whatever.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, that's what the illusion, it was the big illusion, wasn't it? Part of the big illusion. But there are a few, you know, we've got our friend Eric Clapton, who is speaking, you know, to his experience and all of that, and how he's been. I was listening to him, I think RFK podcast. He did like a 30-minute interview with Eric Clapton.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It was beautiful. Just about his adverse reaction, you know, to the jab and all of that, and how he started to see, you know, Eric started to see what was going on. And he said his phone has never been quieter. His life has never been quieter because everybody just kind of abandoned him.
Wow. It was such a vulnerable interview he had with, I forget what the alternative news channel is, but they did a report. It was like a 30-minute, a piece on him when he first came out. And it was so beautiful to see the man behind the icon.
Yeah.
And to integrate that part of just the vulnerability of a human who has been considered this rock god. Yeah. And to see his fragility and to see that to others, he's their dad. Or, you know, and just, dad, don't embarrass me, or whatever they're thinking. And just to see that. And it was just so reassuring that, you know, behind every person, and I say whatever it is that the person presents, whatever experience that we have of people that we don't know or people that we know very little of, there's a heart. And how do we reconnect heart to heart? How do we drop the mind schemes and the conditionings and all of that? And how do we meet heart to heart? So part of me feels excited to see the dropping of the egos, because the more pain is inflicted or is accepted or is chosen, let's put it this way, that the more the barriers to the heart break down. So I hope.
Yeah. It is a real kind of, say, leveling, sounds like a weird word, but just a time, this whole past, 2 years of just really dropping the illusion of everything, including one's ego mind, you know. And you see that with people like Eric Clapton, or, you know, who are saying, hey, you know, this is what I'm realizing, this is what's going on, and they're willing to say that at the apparent cost of their career or whatever, you know, whatever it is. So it's beautiful. I just have to side note on the same topic, kind of, there are so many disappointments, of course, but it is what it is, like in music, of people that I love. I'm like, no. And one of them, I just have to, you know, say, Muse, I have always loved you so much, and you've broken my heart this year. Muse,
Oh,
M-U-S-E, Muse.
yeah, I know Muse. I've seen them live. Pretty good show.
Oh, I've always loved, I mean, it's one of my favorite bands, you know. And I was like, I mean, they literally wrote the song called Resistance and Uprising. And, you know, I'm like, I can't even, can I even listen to this now? I can't, I don't know. Yeah, it's so interesting.
Do you
Huh?
feel, do you think, not feel, do you feel that is it a process of revealing one's true essence, or is it a distortion of one's true essence? The process of, you know, like you're talking, let's take this as an example, right? Somebody who writes a song called Resistance, Uprising, and then all of a sudden is working for the machine that creates oppression,
Yeah,
and segregation and stress at that level. Do you think it's a revealing of that character at a deeper level, or is it a distortion of an essence?
That's such a great question. And it could be different for each individual, right?
Yeah.
Each essence, like, but it does seem to reveal something at the root, at the core of it. Just feels like for some there's a foundation that is unshakable, that is knowable, that is immune to all the bullshit, right? And then there's what I guess at times we thought was that, but it was just again part of the illusion, the machine, you know. So did that band or whoever wrote that song actually feel that way at some point? Yeah, maybe, but at the core, you know, is an inability to see. I don't know, because you know, I guess their whatever their foundation is, I'm not judging that. It's just different. It's a different source. I don't know. What do you feel?
To be completely and utterly honest, I don't know, and I don't have any fucks to give. I don't care.
Yeah.
At this point,
Yeah.
at
It
this
doesn't
point,
really matter, does it?
there's a rebirth process for all of us who are choosing to be rebirthed through this time. And part of it is the shedding of an old life and identity of the things that I thought I liked and who I thought I was. And the exciting part for me is just see that nothing is really ever taken from me, but there's always a refinement of the energy that takes that place. And so through this process, remembering that if something needs to fall away, it means that that space now it's open to be embodied by something of resonance. And so I was actually, yesterday, I sent out a message to Ben Mitchell. He's in Australia, he's a musician, and he's created a platform kind of gathering place called Free the Nation, where musicians can come together, and musicians who are in that essence, right, of unity and rising above the programming.
Yeah.
And I've reached out to him to maybe have him as a guest. And I opened my Spotify and he had released 3 new songs, like a little EP. And I was like, oh, interesting, the timing. And so I feel like with everything, when we really surrender and detach and just allow, right, there's this magic that happens and nothing is ever lost, but there is. And I like that. Oh, yeah, the key.
Your cat knocked something over.
And there is that opportunity of refinement of that energy. And so I feel like at some level there's more elegance and more glow. And the interesting thing is that once I stopped looking for the people who are doing, like, where are they? Where are the musicians? And they just start showing up. And it's hip hop. It's
Yeah.
all kinds of
Right.
music, and from the most unexpected places. And I was just like, oh, look at that. And so it's like, wow, what an opportunity to be rebirthed and to listen to new artists,
New artists. Yeah.
to, be gifted new voices and new things. And it's just literally let the old die. Whatever wants to die with this, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's your choice. I don't, no
That's
judgment on my part. That's just your choice. I don't know what you need to go through. I don't know, why you have to choose what you choose, but
yeah, the music thing is so on, was it New Year's Day, which was Saturday, we went out to some friends here, their land in Tennessee, which is amazing. And we were gifted with a beautiful concert by a beautiful woman who's so talented. I sent you a little clip of it. Just so the quality, it was like in the living room, and the quality of this was just felt like such a blessing that we got to be there live and in person for this. And we were in a big conversation that night was music and music festivals and gathering the musicians and let's do a music festival right here. So yeah, it's happening. It's absolutely happening. And we just make it, we create it, we do it. We don't need to go look for a concert that, we like that person, but now we can't go there because, they require XYZ. Who cares? We just make our own. And it's way better.
It's time to accept the grief of that and really just feel everything you need to feel, and it comes in waves. Just allow yourself to participate in the feelings of your feelings.
Yeah.
On the music note, I've claimed more music in my life, and I don't want to spoil things right now, but the possibility of even making music again, and so being the voice of what we want to hear and take the spotlight, just do it.
Yep. That's right. Do it yourself.
Yeah. DIY.
DIY your music and everything. I mean, that is it, right? That's what we're doing right now, is we're DIYing our whole lives and not being like, who's going to do that for me and create that experience for me? And,
Yeah.
Y'all.
They're over.
It's over.
Yeah. What do you feel that has been your brightest embodiment this past year?
Brightest. Well, I love your words today. There's so many beautiful words today.
I was inspiring me.
Those flowers are really bright. I love them. Okay, let's give me a minute here.
Yeah.
Brightest embodiment. So what's coming up is allowing myself to really, really be embodied in this body with all the things that come with that, and giving myself permission to be angry, to be really fucking angry, and allow that feeling to be there without thinking I need to transmute it immediately. Like, let's transmute the anger or the feeling of injustice or the feeling of outrageousness of all the things. And even though that feeling doesn't come so much anymore, but there were moments this year where I was like, oh my God, and just instead of spiritualizing that and neutralizing that, even though I can do that too. And I did that too, plenty, but just to let it be there and go, there's a reason why my body, and feeling the activation in my body. And it wasn't an anger that I'm going to go and like harm other people and blah, 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 all of that. But just the sense of like, this is activating me for a reason. What is this? What am I going to do with this now? I'm going to sit in anger, but what does this mean for me in this moment? And yeah, just fully allowing myself to be human. Because there was many years of just not doing that, I guess, in some ways, saying, oh no, everything's okay, because it is okay, and we know that, but not really allowing the full levels and layers. Yeah. And that was really fun. That was really fun.
I love how you said not spiritualizing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what we're wording it.
Yeah. It's like, wait, this is fucking wrong. And I see it. And I'll have to sit with it, but I can let that be there and let that move through me, however it's going to. And feel all those feelings. Yeah.
The fine-tuning of discernment as well, and not it's relativism at a level. Like there's a moral compass. I don't know. I hold that strongly within my own perception of what just does not feel right.
Yeah, that's it. It's just that doesn't feel right in me. And that's okay. And there's times when I can speak up about it. There's times when that's not necessary or appropriate. And it's just a subtle, very subtle refinement and discernment, as you said, of really of another level of being of service. When I'm able to feel and allow myself to feel all things without judgment of it. Mm-hmm. What was the original question that you asked me? Oh, brightest embodiment.
Embodiment this year.
Yeah. Do you have something for that?
Minding my own business. That was my brightest embodiment this year.
Nice.
And not from a forced place anymore, of trying to not care. And the discernment that it's not that I don't care, is that I respect so much the mystery.
Yeah.
That I allow for the mystery to play out in ways that maybe I don't understand, but I'm giving everyone the dignity of their choices, of their choosings, and it's really, just almost like a little bit of an excitement to focus in what I want to learn, and I want to unravel within my own being that, I don't really have the energy to give unless I'm invited to a space, or like we've talked about someone's inner kingdom. You partake in counsel. If you don't, it's not my business.
No, sure isn't.
And so I'd say that was, to me, my brightest embodiment. And I remember a few moments where I wouldn't say I got tested, but I got reminded of that. What is it that you choose? When I saw some of the worldly happenings tie to my own past experiences with my parents' health and things that had arisen in their own experience through the trusting of failed systems and why not. And having somebody in my family die because of certain interventions and deciding that it's not my business.
Yeah,
Of
that's
detection
definitely.
and respect, I would say. To me, what the highest resonance was respect of the process.
Respecting their choices. Yeah. I think that was one that so many people this year explored, were faced with, whether they, did or not. But yeah,
Yeah.
myself included, with loved ones. It's, yeah, it was a beautiful process.
Yeah, I agree.
And at the end, it was just like, oh, well, I love you.
Yeah, and what's left out of that, right? And just touching back to the basic and most profound, important thing, that is the love. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So the invitation, dear listeners, I feel like that was, where did I hear dear listeners? What is that? So I don't know if it was a radio show I used to listen to, or like dear listeners. Anyway, dear listeners, the invitation is, what was your brightest embodiment of 2021? What was your greatest challenge and your greatest gift? We would love to hear from you. So let us know in the comments, or you can send us an email at thesourceconnection@protonmail.com. You can also find us on Patreon. We are slowly but surely putting up exclusive content for you guys over there. So join us for that if you feel to. Anything else, Liz?
Yes, and this year we are opening the portal of Anchors of the Light. And so Tara and I are creating a space, an open forum, I would say, if the word resonates, where we can just be ourselves and be guided through some practices and some moments together of deep embodiment and letting go, whatever needs to come through. And those will be live calls that you would be joining in, and we would be co-creating together. So it's an opportunity to be together in real lifetime. So reach out if you would like to participate.
Yeah, definitely let us know. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.